Yo, yo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man, we back once again, man. Wednesday night.
Likewise, we running a little late tonight, y'all. We had a little technical difficulties, and it's a little bit late. Sometimes these things happen. Y'all forgive our tardiness. Forgive us for that. So this is Wednesday night, Light Walkers.
Live and direct, man.
Everybody that support us, we want to say thank you. Make sure you share this with everybody. Go to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, man.
Check us out. You know, we do this each and every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. We're a little late tonight, so we're waiting on a few people to jump in here with us and see what happens. I know y'all on with us. I'm sorry for my tardiness. You know, we got something coming up soon. You know, we've been having what we call Green Party socials.
Sure enough, man.
We got a Green Party social. If y'all missed the one in the garden a month or so ago, you don't want to miss this one. December 3rd. I'm something wrong. I'm all off tonight. December 8th.
Yeah, man.
At our store we have in Indiana, Harvest Therapies, we're gonna have a Green Party social. We're gonna have an organic buffet, an organic bar. There's going to be massage therapists on hand, sound bath, so you'll be able to get a group sound bath and even a personal one, and a lot of other different things, plenty of products. So this is one you don't want to miss. That's going to be at 720 on West 5th Avenue in Gary, Indiana. I'm going to say that again, 720 West 5th Avenue in Gary, Indiana. Look for the flyer. It'll be out this weekend. This is our Green Party social. It's an organic kickback. That's what we call
organic kickback, man.
Kickback. So get ready. We're going to be kicking it back. You bring your back and we'll kick it. So that's going to be this coming up June. I'm talking about June. December 8th. And that's going to be from 5 to 8.
Yeah, man. Friday
we're
night.
only doing it from 5 to 8. That's enough time. It's like after work set. Come over there and get you some delicious organic food. We're going to have organic buffet and an organic bar and lots of other things that's going to go with it. When the Green Party goes down, we make sure that it goes down right, and we do it with absolute class. It's $20 donation to get in. Make sure you come. If you got a coat, we're having a coat drive because we got a lot of shorties out here that don't have coats and don't have clothes. We try to clothe our people too. You know, food, clothing, and shelter is those basic necessities that we need. So this is a coat drive and a fundraiser for our programs and things that we're doing. And this is going to be at 720 West 5th Avenue at Harvest Therapies, which is our store. You find all Ancient Mystic products in there. And that's from 5 to 8. And stay tuned because I'm going to be putting the flyer out to show you the flyer, show you what it looked like, and you could pass it on and share it with others. Wednesday night, we're going to dive into a little something different tonight. You know, we're going to do something just a little different because a lot of topics the Light Walkers talk about. We just don't talk about the music, but I still want to say this is Hip Hop History Month, November, so we're going to send shots out to real hip hop culture, the elements. Those elements, not just the rap game. Rap is recording artists pretending, like I always say. It's the elements that made a culture that took us out of the street. We're going to celebrate that during Hip Hop History Month. Tonight we're going to dive into some of that supernatural science and deal with a few things that they've been laying down in our brains for a while. But before we do that, we'd like to say this is brought to you by Ancient Mystics, all natural products, and Take Notes Production.
Always.
So y'all know, get out your notebooks and pens and take notes.
Straight up, man. Take it on, man.
Take notes. You want to dive into the sun since we're a little late?
Hey, let's dive, man. Let's dive right into it.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. You know what time it is.
Let's go there.
Yeah, so, you know, we give it to you every Wednesday, man, live from the LASCO C2 and C3 satellites orbiting somewhere out there in between the Earth and the sun, man. And, you know, tonight, we're looking at the sun once again, and we don't see too much activity on there, man. It's been a very slow week or two for us. You know, we had a couple of M-class flares last week as we covered, you know, the Earth getting covered in that cloud of electromagnetic waves and dust particles, you know. So this week has just been a relatively mild week, and we've only seen a couple of C-class flares coming off at the Earth, and haven't seen so much interaction with the ionosphere. Although there were some northern lights seen up in the upper latitudes. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's been a very calm week, and something we could touch on real quick, like we touch on every week, man. When we see some of these CMEs or these coronal mass ejections come off from the sun, it's pretty much just a release of electromagnetically charged particles that are hurled toward Earth at 1,000,000 miles per hour. And when they interact with the Earth, they have a profound effect on us, the plant life, the animals, and the planet as a whole in the upper atmospheres. You know what I mean? Responsible for a lot of radio blackouts and such, and a lot of you know, emotional or behavior issues within humans too. You know what I mean? So it becomes a very profound thing. That's why we always like to monitor the sun. And you know, as we're looking at it right now, we see a couple of cooler spots right here. That's usually where some where sunspots are forming, or what sunspots are rather. So we got some up here and some at the bottom, some up at the top at the 11 o'clock position, and these are just cooler, discombobulated parts or disorganized parts of the sun's atmosphere, and that's usually where you see your CMEs and such spawning off of. So we see, like I say, a couple of active spots on the sun facing Earth. Maybe on the backside there's a lot more activity, but we ain't able to monitor that at the moment. So you know, it's not too much going on in the sun, like I said. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look off here at the GOES X-ray flux, just to show you, you know, within the past 24 hours or so, we've seen, you know, a couple of high C-class flares. You know, nothing too major. Like I said, we did see some auroras in the upper latitudes and such, but not too much activity, man. And that's kind of odd, you know, for it being, you know, solar maximum right now, or what we call solar cycle 25.
Solar cycle 25.
Something serious out there, man. You know what I mean? And that's just us climbing into the 25th 11-year cycle of monitoring the sun's activity. So that's, like I said, it's kind of odd that we don't have too much activity going on. And we're supposed to be peaking here within the next year rather than 2025, when the peak is supposed to occur. It's supposed to be peaking in 2024, and that's supposed to give us, you know, a lot of X-class flares or a lot of activity coming off the sun and interacting with the Earth. So, you know, we'll just continue to monitor over the next couple of weeks as you know, we monitor the sun and see, you know, if she's going to continue to get active or if she's going to stay in this slow cycle as she is now. So we're going to jump over to the Enlil Solar Wind Prediction Center, and this is just another satellite that's out there with some monitoring instruments on it that check out the sun and monitor, you know, its rotation and the cosmic waves or cosmic energy, cosmic winds that are coming off of the sun. And we can see that being shown here in this diagram on the left. You know, as the sun rotates, there's always these solar winds coming off there. It's like a big old vortex or a whip, and we see the more plasma density being heightened here in the center on this particular wave. But as we see, when she was launched off at Earth, we just happened to split the distance. You know what I mean? And it was a very inactive couple of days, even a week, you know, for us as we jumped out of that cloud from last week. So, like I said, very inactive time for the sun, and that's kind of strange, you know. So it just makes you wonder if it's the calm before the storm. You know what I mean? We get that calm coming in, and then we start to get all these big X-class flares coming off. And remember, as we talked about last week, October 31st, so many years ago, within the past 20 years, you know, was the Carrington event, and that was when the sun let off this supercharged X flare. Excuse me. And this happened to cause massive blackouts worldwide and such, and mess with the internet at the time, and, you know, put a lot of people in, you know, kind of the dark, as they say. So something to be mindful of as we start to reach in the solar maximum within the next year. So, you know, let's keep our eyes open, and we'll continue to monitor every Wednesday from the LASCO C2 and C3 satellites. Now we're going to jump over here.
Wow.
Lastly, to, you know, check out.
It's getting darker and darker.
Getting darker, Brethren. This is our CO2 monitoring satellite right here, or app. And this is how we measure the carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere. And as you know, as we've been monitoring for the past, you know, 8-9 months so far, we've had nothing but wildfires raging, you know, from the east to the west of Canada. And because of the wind patterns and the changing weather patterns as the seasons progress, we start to see more and more of this thick smoke and carbon dioxide just sitting over the top of us, man. And it's just wicked, my brother.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Heavy now.
It's just very concentrated,
real
man.
Heavy. Each week I tell y'all, get your lungs and your respiratory system together. Get your immune system together. Get your herbs. Get your stuff ready.
Yeah.
Because it'll get darker every week. That's really thick now, especially over Illinois. in this part of the country.
We'll zoom in even a little more to give a more precise view of this, man. Check this, man.
Look at that.
Right here, man. We see the winds coming out of the south, giving us some 65-degree days over the past week here. And with that comes all of that smoke.
The most terrible air quality in 65-degree temperatures.
And most people is outside of this time, yard work and such, man. You know, breathing in the wicked. Yeah, it's been hectic,
and you
man.
wonder why you got mucus in your body, mucus in your lungs. A lot of us suffering from that right now.
Yeah, man.
You know, we gotta deal with it. I'm suffering from it.
Yeah, we all feeling it, man. My nose has been leaky, stuffed up over the past time.
Mucus.
Oh, yeah. Need to find a ways for filtration. That's why we always talk about the herbs, man. You know, link up with us, man, because we got plenty of herbs, man, for the respiratory. Come this fall and winter season, you know, it's definitely something we want to really dive into deep, man, as we come over the next couple of months so that we can continue to keep our respiratories clean and clean out the lungs, man. You know what I mean? Because the air quality has seriously been poor, man, for 9 months straight. Yeah, nonetheless, man, you know, it's been a pretty quiet week as far as weather and cosmic phenomena, you know, so we're gonna jump off of this, man, and take a breath, because fortunately, man, because it's been a rough past couple of weeks, you know, air quality wise and weather, just there's so many contaminants and pollutants all over us as the seasons continue to change, man. We all feeling it, man.
Yeah, feel it for real too.
Yeah, brother.
It's all over you. Yeah, light walkers. Where my light walkers at? Let me move this a little bit. Okay, got that. Well, tonight we're gonna dive into a little different type of knowledge. You know, we light walkers. We do all kind of knowledge. Our job is to bring you the information and bring it into the light, to bring it out of the darkness and into the light. You know, a lot of us, we've been running around, you know, we be talking about the pyramids and talking about black people built the pyramids, and you got some people say the aliens built the pyramids.
It's controversial.
But it's a very controversial subject that we talk about when we get to them pyramids.
Yeah.
Because they're so old and ancient, well, none of us here to do none of that, don't know nothing about it. But we have speculations and theories. I'm going to say that again. We have speculations and theories of how the pyramids were built. I say people didn't build them. I say humankind didn't build this. That's me. I have my opinion. Everybody have an opinion now.
True.
And my opinion is humankind did not build the pyramids. Not no man. And if they did, why they can't construct them now with all the technology and tools and industrial power? Why they can't construct these buildings now?
You think it's such a universal symbol, man. It's such a powerful symbol like that. A lot of sacred geometry in that, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So tonight we want to just dive into a little theory, do a little homework. Yeah. Take notes, productions. Take you a few notes, do the research. Disclaimer right quick. We have a lot to say about things on these platforms, but we're blocked from saying a few things because they operate the platform, you know, like that, you know. So take notes on what we're talking about and do your own research. You know, have your information verified. Verify your own information. And, you know, we choose brains over brawn. A lot of us choose tough over smart.
True.
You know, I choose smart. Because smart, I'll out-tough you. You see, so tonight we're going to get into the pyramids and just look at a few things in them. Just a little quick lesson right quick. It's going to be a different type of light walkers tonight. Like I said, y'all will come with all kind of subjects. Let's dive into it, man. See what we're talking about.
Let's jump in, man. So tonight, man, we're jumping into the Giza Plateau, man. You know what I mean? This is over in Egypt, or what we know as ancient Kemet, or I'm sure you called it another name as well, man.
Kemet.
I thought there was another name before that.
Kemet Nu. Land of Kush. You see, we say Kemet Nu. Egypt is Greek.
Okay.
When you hear the term Egypt, that's Greek. That means the burnt ones. You know, the burnt. Because the people of Egypt were melanated. You see, so that's a Greek terminology. And when you talk about the pyramids, we talk from a standpoint called Egyptology.
Yeah. Which
that's how we taught the pyramids. And that was created by the Roman Catholic Church. You see, during the Second Council of Narcissus, they came with the Egyptology. There is no ontology of nothing else but Egypt. This is to keep you away from the secrets. This is to keep you away from that they got a telescope in Rome, called Lucifer. And they watching some porthole in the sky, waiting on something to come back. So they keep you away from the esoteric and ancient knowledge. They give us what they want us to have, the stories of the beings that we call gods.
Absolutely.
You see, those deities and beings. And the real true story of them, because I think if you ever found out the real true story, they'd be out of power.
Yeah, they put a lot of religion into wax.
They got us in Egyptology, and as we look at Egypt or Kemet, we see that the pyramids and in the alignment, you see, and the cities that built around them. And what were these pyramids built for?
I think that's the ultimate question, man. A lot of research shows now that when you go inside of these pyramids, man, the feeling that you get is that it's not meant for people to be moving about in, man, and it almost seems to have particular aspects to it that make it function as almost a battery or something that's electrically charged or has some type of propulsion to it. Maybe even we can even go as far as saying computerized. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like to say, by my research in them, that they were portals. That they opened, there was like a portal that was opened up due to the capstone was made out of limestone and gold and granite.
Absolutely.
So, these are conductors. Absolutely. And what were they conducting? What is the energy? Why is the center box inside the pyramid called the Holy of Holies?
Absolutely. And what is there a box doing inside of the pyramid, man? Well, a big granite box at that, Well, a few of them. Yeah. A couple different parts of the King's Chamber.
These are those things. Because the pyramid is a special design. It's not only built like you see it in its form heading up into the sky, but it goes down into the earth. Exactly. As above, so below.
Right, man. There's they always talk about there being a few different chambers or such below that are created as like the foundation, but with the depression of a pyramid. Yeah. As above, so below.
Yeah, and look at this. Look at the shape. Look at the geometry and the shape.
If you look at it from this aerial view, you can see that we have 2, 4, 6, 8 sides on the pyramid.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I don't know if it's an optical illusion or what, but a lot of people, when they see it, they only project it as 4 sides, man. But these precise measurements are so astrologically coordinated with things like Orion, the constellation Orion, also with in correlation with things like the sun rising on the equinox or a particular position on the horizon at the solstices. A lot of these things are factored into the dimensions of the pyramid. So, like for example, we'll talk about the number 432, and 432 is supposed to be like this sacred geometric number. They talk about it in the Emerald tablets. Where they talk Hermes Trismegistus, or who they call Thoth sometimes. So they talk about this sacred ratio or sacred number, and it's because 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 2 is 9. The sacred number 9, we see that in a lot of geological structures as well. Exactly.
The rebirth.
We tend to run on this base 10 number system, but the ancients had this very more, I guess you call it more efficient and more precise method of doing things, which was by taking these base ratios of everything. So this is how they were able to measure these astronomical units on the horizon, or even in the constellations and such, and measure these down to Earth. So they'll take the number 432, which is very symbolic of the precession of Earth. We think about how Earth rotates on the axis, right? And every 43,200 years, the Earth, 7,126 years, the Earth shifts on its axis by 1 degree. So that's why a lot of Egyptologists argue that there's not a true precise alignment of the pyramids to the constellation anymore.
What they call it here?
Egyptologists.
Egyptologists.
Wow. Yeah. That's a hell of a moniker, man, to put on these guys.
Wow.
But they say, man, that because it's off, it discredits, any type of precise alignment. But if you go back 12,000 years or even further, 12,000 years is the dynastic times, where, the Egypt or Kemet that we're familiar with, that were taught in our history books, the dynastic periods. But if you go back even further beyond 12,000 years, this was still within the age of Leo, which was when the pyramids were precisely lined up with these particular constellations and things like Orion's belt. And when the axis shift over that period to where we are now in present day, that's why it is off. And we see that at quite a bit of ancient monoliths around the world as well. So we look at how these things were built, and a lot of Egyptologists will say that, oh, there's a lot of studies out there that show many masons or engineers can crack stone in half, or they could drill into the earth, but only to a certain level of precision. When we look at a hole like this is what you call a core drill. I was doing this a while back when I was working up in the mills. We were drilling holes up in the steel plates, and we had a machine that did that, and only spun at a particular rate, so many revolutions per minute. Or per second rather, and it took roughly 20 minutes to drill a big hole in there and such. But we look at something like this, which is roughly could go all the way up to a foot or more deep, and this is just a very precise hole drilled into granite. And granite is, if you know what they call the Mohs scale, which is like measures the hardness of particular materials.
Yeah.
This granite measures out right below diamonds, like an 8 or a 9 on the scale.
Now what tools did they have
exactly
to do this?
That's the question.
What tools did they have and technology to do this? If they had tools and technology to do this then, we should be super far advanced by now.
Absolutely, man.
In technology. I'm going to tell y'all, they didn't do this. Something else did this. I know everybody. I know people jump and say, here you go with this alien thing. I'm telling y'all, somebody to drill these holes in precise measurement in the precise place with some tools.
With some tools, man.
And it wasn't no little chisel made out of no rocks and stuff. You can't go through no granite with that.
They say this particular hole was drilled at a rate of 1 to 5. So that means it was drilled for every second. It was going down 5 inches into this particular piece of granite, which we cannot even replicate today with such precision. And this was already measured out by taking a plaster sample of this a few years ago. They took a plaster sample and were able to see the grooves as if you were like drilling a corkscrew or taking one of those hole bores that you see you can connect to your power drill and such, to drill a hole in some wood or whatever. And yeah, it's at such a rate that we cannot, our most powerful tool cannot even replicate that today. So how is this explained? And where are the tools to explain this, man?
I know, man. It sounds. It's baffling. I'm sitting there looking at it. I got stuck for a minute because where did they get?
Where do you? Every builder that I know or that I've worked with always leaves some remnants at the job site, man. You know what I mean? Some type of tool to show what they were using. Even when you look at the hieroglyphs, they show you inside of the pyramids where they tell their story from the dynastic period that the pyramids that they built were like mud bricks, pretty much dirt and hay and whatever other fibrous plants put together with water and baked in the sun to create bricks. And those pyramids have since collapsed, or there's very little remnants.
So now who built these pyramids?
There's no particular record or any type of story that talks about who built the pyramids beforehand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, look at this picture right here. This is a picture of scoop marks at the Giza Plateau. These are like a backhoe coming in and scooping out the granite. So an argument for this would be that, they're using chisel tools, or they had some type of a piece of copper and were blasting it with water and sand.
Wow.
To get like these cut marks or these grooves in there. But there's no evidence on these particular scoop marks.
Where they get the water pressure from to do that?
Exactly. Yeah, we know back then there was water, right?
We got to use our brains nowadays, man, because we don't be using our brains. We just be saying something. We just be believing in anything.
Yeah, man.
We don't know nothing. We just believing in anything. And we're not looking at the facts. Something with high skill levels of technology came and designed this. They came and designed this. They can design this for whatever means of craft that they were landing, portholes that they were coming through. And these people saw these beings, and they worshiped these beings as gods. That's the only record of, that's the only concept that can really fly.
Sure.
That you can recognize that flies. We didn't have technology like that. The ancient Kemites didn't have technology like that. Here I go talking we like I was there. And like the rest of us be talking we. We built the pyramids. No, you didn't. You ain't built that.
True.
That's something higher and a higher plateau and a higher volume of intellect that designed and created that. And what's so crazy, these pyramids are all over the world.
All over, man.
These pyramids are all over the world.
It's a universal symbol, and the mathematics put into the construction of all of these, into the blueprints of it, have to be built at such precision, man, that if you're off by a centimeter or a millimeter, it's going to collapse, it's going to destruct, you know. But this is a universal symbol that we see all over the world, and once again we go back to the golden ratio, you know, or we go back to pi, which could also be found in the dimensions of it. If you take 43,200 and multiply it by the base length of the pyramid, which I'm talking about just one side of the pyramid, you will get the global ratio of the planet Earth. When you measure the height of the pyramid, 481 feet with the capstone, because a lot of people argue against that. They'll say that it's 450 something feet now, but 481 feet with the capstone and multiply that by the same. You'll get another ratio of Earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all these things are innately programmed in all of these pyramids throughout the planet, man.
That's deep.
It's a universal language in a sense.
Now,
you know?
how did the Aztecs know what the Kemites were doing? Now, I know some of y'all out there going to say, the ancient Kemites, they traveled across the land and they taught them. No, whatever came, put these structures, let's call them that, in specific places. They all are in specific places and specific climates. And they're placed there in a geometrical order. And they all line up all over the world to the star belt. Now, who did this? Was it man? Talk to me like Walkers. Talk to me. Put some comments down there now. Jump in. I need y'all to jump in. I know this is a deep one. And we off the wall with it. We doing it different than people normally do it. When they talk about the pyramids, we talking about it on a different angle, you know. And we always gonna get some flack back. And y'all here, y'all go with this alien stuff. Yeah. You think you're the only one on the planet Earth? You think the Earth is the only inhabitants of beings? And there are millions of solar systems out there? Nah, I ain't falling for that one.
So the quote-unquote Egyptians that came during the dynastic times, during the dynastic period, said that the ones that came before them walked. They came from a time where the gods walked with them, or the deities walked with them. That's what it supposedly translates to, you know. And there's relatively no information on nothing that came before this particular narrative, this Egyptologist narrative. You know what I mean? There's no information on what came before about the cultures previous to them. You know. I'll drop an interesting theory of mine right here, my interesting alien theory. You know, it seems like when we start getting into the talks about Atlantis, which this story comes out of Egypt or ancient Kemet or so, and they start talking about, 7 particular beings or figures or sages. And this story is known throughout many cultures throughout the world. They always have these 7 sages who come and they bring them this knowledge or the pine cones of how to do agriculture and do all these things. So they talk about Atlantis having these seven particular deities. And when Atlantis supposedly fell, these deities left the earth, you know? And we kind of see evidence around this all over the earth. We see these periods where, you know, there's this technology that was supposedly around building all these structures like we're seeing here with the pyramids. And then there's a period of cataclysm, or what we call the Younger Dryas period, 12,000 years ago or so. And after the cataclysm, we started seeing all of these, you know, people coming back around and taking, I guess, the concepts from the ones that came before them and start to rebuild on top of these structures or build to mimic these structures. And it seems to me that there was a period of time where civilization was really advanced, so advanced to where that they had to figure out how to get off the planet. Kind of similar to the narrative we living out here today. They're trying to get off the planet and go bind the rest of the solar system as if they're foreshadowing something to happen.
Right.
Is that the ultimate goal of humanity? That's the question they pose. But to me, it seems like a previous civilization left Earth before a cataclysm happened and came back and almost like was given power tools to the the dynastic period or so. Here's a circular saw, cut the block or so. Here's a circular drill, cut that. But I mean, it just makes me wonder, if there was a civilization prior that had already left the planet and came back.
Yeah. Well, when you dive into that book of Enoch, and the book The Watchers, which is a great audio book. If y'all are doing into audio books, check out the book of Enoch on The Watchers. And they talk about the fallen 200 and the serpent gods. Now, all of these places where these pyramids are represented by a deity of a serpent. Now, if this is told in all of these different languages and cultures all over the world, is there real truth to it? Because we seem to deny the truth, but other people all over the world are, seeing these things.
Right. I get curious about this, man, because the way that the ancients describe things are a lot different than we describe them. We got ways that we describe things now because of all the information that we have. The ancients, seen things coming from the sky, and did they describe it for what it was, or did they cover it up allegorically? Like for example, there's some cultures in Greece that have inscripted in some of their cuneiform language that there was a serpent that came out of the sky and when it touched the ground, it split the island in two. It almost makes you think like a meteor, a way to describe a meteor or so, or a comet or so. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's like another aspect of it to question it.
Well, in the Aztec, and before them, the Toltec, the Mayan civilization, they all celebrated and worshiped a serpent god.
Yeah.
That was said to come from the heavens, from the sun.
That's right. And brought the knowledge and brought the agriculture.
You see? And if you look at that, like I go back into that book of Enoch again, when it talks in the book of the Watchers, when it says that the one called Samazel came down in the Mount Hermon over there in close to Iraq over there and taught the people the first lessons of herbs and magic and the technologies of the other deities that came and brought each one of them these technologies, like you said about the 7 sages. It's an interesting theory. We pose these theories like this so that you could do your own research. Just don't believe in what people tell you. You start looking into it, because in this time we living in right now, they are shaping our perception of what things is instead of us actually seeing it for what it really is and truly understanding that. They shaping it. And we have to look at what these pyramids were. Were landing stations for crafts. It was said that a lot of the lesser pyramids, because in the Great Pyramid of Giza, there's never been a tomb found in there.
Absolutely.
There's never been like a...
Egyptologists say that that's a farce, man.
Yeah. I think these were portholes for these beings to come back and pull from the earth.
It's so interesting you bring that up, because when you measure the acoustics inside of them, it measures that at the hertz of 438 hertz, and this is one of them solfeggio frequencies that we talk about, man, them healing frequencies. But we also know that with acoustics, when you apply acoustics inside of an enclosure, especially one that's got a lot of sacred geometry in it, to where the sound bounces off it in a particular way, it has the ability to create a vortex, man, or a type of energy portal, and we see evidence of this inside of the Great Pyramids of Giza as well, above and below ground. And when you go down underground into the subterranean parts of it, when you have somebody, like for example, an opera singer singing up in the upper upper chambers, the resonation is so powerful that you could feel the vibrations pumping through you down in the subterranean chambers. They've done many experiments like
some
this.
Deep science.
Yeah, man.
And listen, man, these people didn't have no technology like that. They didn't have no John Deere machines to dig up nothing.
No.
Wasn't no Walsh Construction Company to build nothing like this. There wasn't no technology, wasn't no Bill Gates and all the rest of that stuff, technology to do this. There were high sophisticated levels of intelligence that came and did this. And they did this for means of themselves, I could say, transporting things and actually coming down and servicing those that they taught.
Absolutely, man.
What you think?
Why not come down and give a small helping hand? You don't have to give all of the information. They kind of do us like they do now. They drip feed us. So who's to say that a civilization didn't come back and helped with the moving of these bricks, or gave the natural technology like acoustic levitation or some type of, we think so much in mechanics, man, because we use so many power tools and things like that and automated machines. But it seems like a lot of ancient civilizations were more in tune with like the natural, how to use the natural elements of Earth, per se.
The harmonics.
The harmonics, man.
They were used to the natural frequencies, the natural bands of frequencies that's on the earth. And mankind today can't even duplicate none of this.
Straight up.
With all the stuff, they said they didn't send somebody up in space to see the moon. They didn't landed on the moon, but they still can't build the pyramids. I put this out here because it's a very interesting set of work. We've been told to look away from it. See, a lot of us, we get caught in the Egyptology of it. We want to wear the symbols and the Ankh and the Wajet, which you call the Eye of Haru, and different symbols. And we don't know the making of these symbols and what they really stood for. Even like that Ankh, we don't know that it's considered a key, but a key to what? They say it's the symbol of life, the key to life. But if it's a key, it unlocks something. You see? And it has cartouches on it, which are spells. We don't speak the language, so we can't unlock the spell. You see? Yeah. And there was higher forms of intelligence that dealt with this. They made movies about it. Right in our face, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. When they sing in the Neteru, you see? And they show it in the movie, all the people sitting in the desert singing the Neteru. The Neteru were the prayers to Anu. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, as they call it, coming forth by day, you see what I'm saying? Transformation of light. These were the papyruses or the papers of Anu that summons the god Anu from out the Orion belt. And the other deities that came and matched the other stars that came together to create this portal for these beings. And they've been with us ever since. They haven't left. They're in the shadows. Some of them probably run major governments. Yeah.
I wonder if these seven sages somehow tie into the bloodlines that they talk about that control the world, man.
They might do. It's the 1%, because you look on top of the dollar bill and the pyramid, the capstone is separated from the body, representing that 1%. Those that know, those that rule, those that are all powerful. And we have to look at that.
Yeah, the correlation is so precise between them.
As you see the Orion belt, how the stars line up, and they all line up with the pyramids on the earth as they line up in the sky. This is something more And see, we all got food that they buried some pharaohs in there, but they didn't
Yeah.
put no pharaohs in there.
Never once found one.
This was somewhere for transportation because they were skipping through ultralight frequencies through these belts and what they call subsonic speed. This is technology. This is technology. We're talking technology 20, 30, 40, 50,000 years ago.
Yeah. This is when a lot of gemstones or crystals were real prevalent on the earth, man. And you know the people in Egypt or Kemet, they didn't really have a thing for diamonds and such. They had more a sense of colored gemstones, and one in particular was things like quartz, man, or quartzite, and they found a lot of this inside of the pyramids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially in a lot of hidden chambers or voids, as they say, rooms that led to nothing.
And quartz transfers energy.
Exactly, man. It's a very great conductor.
Not only that, you go look at Stone Mountain in Georgia.
Yeah.
It's the largest piece of granite on the planet Earth.
Wow, man.
When I was in Stone Mountain, I was reading the thing, and I think people don't read no more. They just go by their day. They just look at it. Ooh, that's what it is. And they were saying that about 20,000 years ago, this fell from space. This is the largest piece of granite on the planet. A mountain of granite, a superconductor. And if you walk up it, you can feel it. I've been to the top of it. Fell asleep, smoked a spliff,
wow,
talked to the hawks.
Oh, yeah, brother.
You see? And it charges your body. A lot of us don't understand or overstand or understand these things because we live in a square.
Sure.
So we don't look at this type of knowledge.
You don't.
You see?
You're caught up in that mainstream narrative, man.
Yeah, and instead of looking into the terrestrial, that's why we do the sun every week.
Real talk.
Because there's more to this than just us on the planet.
Yeah, man. So, some things are really common sense, man, when you look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this, man. This is showing a common point. This is like a bunch of different radiuses coming out to show where Easter Island and Angkor Wat and Mohenjo-daro, Giza, and I forget what the other one is over here, man. But they all connect at this certain point on Earth, and this happens to be, I believe, the 38th parallel or so.
Parallel, yeah.
And this is very profound because it's like a ley line around the Earth and such, man. And a lot of different sacred sites fall on this. And when you do different energetic readings at these particular sites, you see that the EMF levels or the electromagnetic frequency levels are above and through the roof. And all these places have pyramids. You know, Angkor Wat over here in Cambodia, it's got one of the earliest pyramids that they found up in the jungle, man.
Now check this out. Since you said in Cambodia.
Yeah.
In Cambodia, the tallest statues of what people would call God exist. And the statue is called Nigger Junis.
Oh, wow.
And it's a big nose African Asiatic statue. And who built this? And why were these monuments built?
Yeah, absolutely.
You see? And why were those pyramids built? Who came and taught them the science of that religion, of that spirituality, of that viewpoint? And all of these things line up with Mars. And they line up in certain parts of the world to set up a grid. And if you look at each point where the pyramids are at, these are powerful points on the planet. As far as rulership and technology, we got to pay close attention.
Straight up, man.
We got to pay close attention.
This has become some compelling knowledge, man. I'll tell you that much, man. You know, we discredit ancient man, you know, for a lot of things, but this is something that I think is a little more extraterrestrial or dimensional or, whew, I mean,
it's Star Wars, baby.
You understand? We look at ourselves, man. We already trying to get off.
And tonight, I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Woo. It's heavy out there, brethren.
I could turn into Darth Vader too.
Absolutely.
But I'm Obi-Wan. As you can see, the Orion Constellation again. Look how the stars line up over the pyramids. This is correct to the line geometry.
Yeah, it doesn't get no more precise than this. We weren't able to discover longitude and latitude to even map the correlation of these particular spots on Earth and the stars until the 19th century. But this, what they call chronographers or chronometers, this is how we measure longitude, latitude nowadays. We didn't develop that until the 19th century, man, which is the 1800s. But they had this technology 5,000 plus years ago in ancient Greece, in Kemet, South America. They built their own out of granite and other particular crystals, man. And in order to do that, man, you have to have some type of off this world knowledge, man. You know what I mean?
Well,
you have to be able to see things from a extraterrestrial view, per se.
Well, there were tribes in Africa like the Dogon who navigated the heavens and the stars. There were the monsoon riders who rode the storms based off the astrology of the stars and the events that were read inside of the astrology.
Such a deep
the travel of the belt.
Man.
And here we is with this old Roman Catholic Egyptology, talking about we know something. That's why, listen, man, take notes, productions. Y'all got to take some notes and stop just believing in stuff and do the knowledge yourself.
Man.
You see?
There's some good research out there, man. Present day research too, man. They're always discovering stuff every day, man. Especially that questions the mainstream narrative, you know?
Yeah. It's amazing how we've been hoodwinked and tricked into a lot of stuff nowadays to just believe.
Yeah.
That word believe just means, you know what I'm saying, to be lied. So you're being lied to. You're speculative. You don't know.
It's almost like we're a species with amnesia, man. We done forgot the past, and we don't want to remember the past, man. It's almost like we've dumbed down over the course of 6,000 years.
And I'm gonna speak to black people. Black people, if y'all talking about we built the pyramids, why we can't do it now? What we got, like you said, we got amnesia.
Yeah. Because if you had this knowledge and you knew what they was used for, the significance of them, we'd be building these things all over the place, man. You know what I mean?
There'd be summons and everything that we could summons.
This is why I'm always like...
See, they gave us religions.
Yeah.
And the word religion means a cord. Comes from the word ligament, a cord. To attach to bind. In dogma and rules. The rules say don't look in the sky. Christians say don't look in the sky. But his figure Jesus says, in my Father's house there are many mansions. What is he talking about? He's talking about the celestial heavens. No, we believe that it's the mansions up there with some white picket fences and Annie M and them sitting on the porch drinking lemonade.
We be thinking so stupid with it, man.
The muck silliness that's been introduced into our psyche through religion.
Straight up, man.
You see,
Egyptology should be even considered a religion too, man.
They said that the Christ went to Egypt.
Yeah.
And he studied with the learned elders. What was he studying for him to come back and say, in my father's house? I don't even think it was my father's house. It was in my parents' house. There are many mansions. There are many houses. These are the houses of the celestial heavens.
Yeah.
These are the houses of the attributes of the zodiacs. Not zodiac, zodiacs. Because Egypt has a whole different astrological chart than we read in America. A lot of us read in America from the astrological charts due to Greek influence.
Yeah.
When they came in and burned the libraries and stole the books and reverted the knowledge back at you. And then the Romans came in and mixed with the Greeks, and they jumbled it up even more so that the people would be ignorant, meaning they didn't know. And to this day, we now have what they call Egyptology. And Egyptology stops us from talking and looking at this in this type of way.
Straight up, man. Such a heavy Greek influence on that, man.
Like I said, these places were phenomenal places. Look like a landing field out there, don't it?
Yeah, straight up, man.
Look like a landing field. And these places were built in precise measurements of the sun. And they line up all over the world.
Straight up, man. On the equinox, man. Many different locations like so.
Wow. This is why they say during the 31st, in the equinox, the 31st, which we call Halloween or Hallows Eve, they said that this is when the ceiling is lower and the veil is off the earth. What is the veil? That these portholes are now open due to this season and the climatic pressure of hot and cold and the mixture and the frequencies. This opens up something. And right now today in Rome, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, they have a big telescope in Vatican City. Y'all look this up.
It's actually in Arizona.
It's Arizona?
Yeah.
I thought they had one in Vatican City too.
The Vatican City owns it in Arizona.
Okay,
they're the ones who put it out there.
I thought it was in Vatican City. I know they have one that the Roman Catholic Church owns, and it's called the Lucifer Scope.
Yeah, man.
And they have another one in China, and one in Russia, and NASA, who was the Nazis. That's a whole different story.
Straight up.
They have one, and all of them are looking at this certain geometry in the sky, looking for this porthole to open. What are they waiting for to come back? What are they waiting for? What are they looking for? These are questions that have to be asked. They just had a report in the Senate about UFOs. and then people came out, and I think the news kind of jumped over it. And we don't listen to the news anyway. We want to listen to Jada Pinkett and Will. What happened to Jada Pinkett and Will Smith? We want our news about rappers. Our news about gangbangers. We don't want to listen that these people were having a straight Senate hearing on these beings. And what they were saying was that they've been in contact with these beings for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think the general public, the way it was delivered to us, we skipped over it. A lot of us didn't because we listened. My light walkers, y'all know, that's why we light walkers, because we have to listen. We have to do the knowledge. We have to see what people ain't looking. We have to see it. And they talked about these beings, and they talked about that the coming of them, and whether or not they would make it acceptable to people. You've been already, what's the word? We like to use the word desensitized to the alien thing, because for the last 30 years you've been bombarded with movies like that. From Star Wars, George Lucas didn't make that for nothing. That's the only movies he made. He didn't make no other movies but Star Wars, a whole series of them. And if you ever follow the story of it, it's a story based on these beings. And the intergalactic beings that exist in the heavens. The intergalactic world. And NASA, the Nazis, they've been intertwining with this world. This is why they were afraid of Adolf Hitler during the Second World War, because he had direct contact with these beings. He had technology that had came from somewhere that none of them had. The Russians didn't have it, America didn't have it, Great Britain didn't have it, France didn't have it. So the whole world got together and jumped on it. I tried to bring this up in a discussion one time, and brother told me in a discussion, it was about the diplomatic diplomacy and the money. It was not. It was about technology. We get fooled and all that old stuff. You know, in 1989, the city of Panama was attacked. Panama was attacked. They were removing Manuel Noriega. They came in on the day before Christmas, on December 24th, 1989. They came in and they flew some unusual looking craft with unmarked soldiers to subdue Panama. The people were running and laser beams were shooting from the sky and disintegrating people. They had weapons, poison dart weapons, new stuff that you had never seen before. It was like it was alien technology. I'm not fearing y'all. Go back and look at the Panama Deception. If you had an old DVD of it, or if you can find it on YouTube, you should. It's called the Panama Deception. And listen to what they said of the atrocities that was the lasers shooting from the sky and the different the beings appearing on the street and disappearing. This was real stuff. We're so desensitized now through movies and the culture of movies that we'll accept this when it comes. Remember in that movie Independence Day, all the people lined up on top of the building waiting on the alien craft until they blasted a hole and took them all out. But everybody's waiting on it. Independence Day, another movie, Alien versus Predator. How they tell the story of the extraterrestrial and the interterrestrial beings hunting in a hunting competition. This was the alien versus the predator. Both of them were hunting. They were hunters.
Oh man, we just got flagged.
Are we still on?
We're on StreamYard, yeah. We just got flagged on Facebook though, so
they flagging us, y'all.
Yeah, man.
They flagging us.
Y'all tuning in on YouTube, man. Hopefully we didn't get flagged on YouTube either.
Yeah, they flagging us. They don't like us. They don't like us talking about that. But we have to be clear about what's going on. I guess we get too deep on it.
Yeah, we always be getting a little bit too. We always trying to find line, brethren. You know what I mean? We try to swing left field today, man. Try to go one flew over the head, man.
Yeah, y'all. I think we're getting too deep on them. But we want y'all to do the knowledge, and we want you to participate in the knowledge.
Yeah, man.
Like I said, we can't say everything on these platforms. Like I said, they show you can't do everything, you can't say everything. So take notes. This is Take Notes Production. Y'all stay tuned for Green Party Social.
Yeah, man,
coming up December 8th. It's 5 to 8.
Yeah, 5 to 8.
At 720 West 5th Avenue in Gary, Indiana, at our store Harvest Therapist. I'd like to big up Zulu King Isaac Q, King K. I'd like to big up all the white walkers that follow us. And until next week, we're going to be still walking in the light. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.